Next song is a song from County Cork. I learned it from a friend of mine, Tom Butcher, who's a famous Irish folk singer. And I give him clues now and again, doesn't matter. Um, the song is about a drink called Johnny Jump Up, and it's cider.
Chorus on the sheets.
Chorus on the sheet, he says.
Johnny Jump Up. Carry on.
Okay. I'll tell you a story that happened to me one day as I wandered in Youghal by the sea. The sun it was up and the day it was warm. Says I, a quiet pint will do me no harm. I went in and I asked for a bottle of stout. Said the barman, I'm sorry, all the beer has run out. Try whiskey or paddy, 10 years in the wood. Said I, I'll try cider, I've heard that it's good. Oh, never, oh, never, oh, never. If I live to 100 or 110, for I fell to the ground and I couldn't get up after drinking a quart of the Johnny Jump Up. After drinking me third, I went out to the yard and I bumped into Brophy, the big civic guard. Come here to me, boy, don't you know I'm the law? I up with me fist and I shattered his jaw. He fell to the ground with his knees doubled up, but it wasn't me hit him, 'twas Johnny Jump Up. The next thing I saw down in Youghal by the sea was a cripple on crutches, and says he to me, I'm afraid of me life, I'll be hit by a car. Could you help me across to the railwayman's bar? After drinking a quart of that cider so sweet, he threw down his crutches and danced in the street. Oh, never, oh, never, oh, never again. If I live to 100 or 110. Till I fell to the ground and I couldn't get up after drinking a quart of the Johnny Jump Up. A man died in the Union by the name of MacNab, and they washed him and laid him out flat on a slab. And after O'Connor his measurements did take, his wife took him home to a bloody fine wake. About 12 o'clock and the beer it was high. The corpse he sat up and he said with a sigh, I can't get to heaven, they won't let me up, till I bring 'em a gallon of Johnny Jump Up. This song is from County Down. It's an emigration song called The Mountains of Mourne. Mary, this London's a wonderful sight, with the people they're working by day and by night. They don't sow potatoes, no barley, no wheat, but there's gangs of them digging for gold in the street. At least when I asked them, that's what I was told. So I just took a hand at this digging for gold. But for all that I found there, I might as well be where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea. I believe that when writing a wish you expressed as to how the fine ladies of London were dressed. Well, if you believe me when asked to a ball, they don't wear no tops to their dresses at all. I've seen them myself, and you couldn't, in truth, tell if they were bound for a ball or a bar. Don't be sad, them fashions now, Mary McCree, where the mountains of Mourne sweep down to the sea. You remember young Peter O'Loughlin, of course. Well, he's over here now at the head of the force. I met him today, I was crossing the Strand, And we swept the whole street with one wave of his hand. And as we stood talking of days that are gone, the whole population of London looked on. But for all his great powers now he's wishful like me, to be back where the dark moon sweeps down to the sea. There's beautiful girls here, oh never you mind, with beautiful shapes nature never designed. Lovely complexions of roses and cream, but O'Loughlin remarked with regard to the same, that if at those roses you ventured to sip, the color might all come away on you. So I'll wait for the wild rose that's waiting for me, in the place where the dark moon sweeps down to the sea. This is an English drinking song, just for a change. I learned it from a Scotsman called Mac Ritchie, who's a famous Scots folk singer. Just leave me there again, isn't it? You've got all these lines. Well, not to worry. In the middle of it, I say the word McIntyre, and everybody is supposed to immediately say McIntyre. Can everyone practice that? Okay, yeah. McIntyre.
McIntyre.
Okay.
Mac Ritchie.
I think you're right, you're wrong, yeah. Okay. Here's a code. Didn't hear it. Right. Frog in the throat. Some friends and I in a public house were playing dominoes last night, when all of a sudden in the barman rushed his face just like a kite. What's up, says Brown? Have you seen your aunt? Have you seen your Aunt Maria? Me Aunt Maria be damned, says he, the flaming pub's on fire. On fire, says Brown. What a bit of luck. Come along with me, says he. And down in the cellar in the far end there we'll have a jovial spree. So we all went down with good old Brown, and the booze you couldn't miss. And we hadn't been 10 minutes there till we were right well drunk. There was Brown upside down, mopping up the whiskey off the floor. Booze, booze, firemen cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let them in till it's all mopped up. Someone shouted McIntyre. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic, drunk. The night the old dung cow caught fire. Old Johnson jumped on the port wine tub and gave it a few hard knocks. Then he started taking off his pantaloons, likewise his shoes and socks. Hold on, says Snooks, if you want to wash your feet, here's a tub of poor ale here. Don't wash your trotters in the port wine tub, while we have some old stale beer. Just then there was such a terrible crash, half the bleeding roof gave way, and we were drowned by the fireman's hose, but still we were quite gay. So we got some sacks and some old tin tacks, and we bunged ourselves inside. And we were drinking good old Scotch till we were bleary-eyed. There was Brown upside down, mopping up the whiskey off the floor. Booze, booze, the firemen cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let them in till it's all mopped up. Someone shouted McIntyre. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic, drunk. The night the old dung cow caught fire.
Right, I think that's got us all thirsty. Yeah. So let's have another drinking song. I think this one's from Down Under, which is where we'll be when we finish drinking. Oh, it's dry and salt.
From away, anyway. Roughly together then.
More roughly than together.
Let's estimate it.
Very rough. Very rough.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And around the land, and my story makes a sound.
There you go.
We're there, we're there. And I lost off at last. Far across the western plains, I must wander. And it's all for me, grog. It's jolly grog. It's tobacco. For a spend only ten, in a shanty makes it ten. All across the western plains, I must wander. Well, I'm stiff and stony broke, and I'm parted from me knoll, and the sky's looking black as flaming thunder, and the shanty boss is blue, 'cause I haven't got a sou. That's the way they treat you when you're down and under. And it's all for me grog, me jolly grog. For a spend only ten, in a shanty makes it ten. Far across the western plains, I must wander.
I'm drunk in the head, and I haven't been to bed. But first I touch the shanty with me plunder. I see centipedes and snakes, and I'm full of aches and shakes. And I think it's time to hush for where I come.
It's all for me grog, me jolly grog. It's all for me tobacco. For a spend only ten, in the shanty makes it ten. Far across the western plains, I must wander. In the town of Athy, one Jeremy Lanigan battered away till he hadn't a pound. Father died and made him a man again, left him a farm and 10 acres of ground. He threw a fine party for friends and relations who didn't forget him when sent to the ball. If you'll just listen, I'll make your eyes glisten at rows and ructions at Lanigan's ball. 6 long months I spent in Dublin, 6 long months doing nothing at all. 6 long months I spent in Dublin learning the steps for Lanigan's ball. She stepped out, I stepped in again, I stepped out. She stepped in again, she stepped out. I stepped in again, learning the steps for Lanigan's ball. Myself, to be sure, got 3 invitations for all the fine boys and girls in my class. In less than a minute, the friends and relations were dancing as merrily as bees on the class. Oh, I think I ran out of steam there. There was lashings of punch, wine for the ladies, potatoes and cakes and bacon and tea. The Nolans, the Dolans, all the old ladies, courting the girls and dancing away. 6 long months I spent in Dublin, 6 long months doing nothing at all. 6 long months I spent in Dublin learning the steps for Lanigan's ball. She stepped out, I stepped in again, she stepped out. I stepped in again, I stepped out, and she stepped in again, learning the steps for Lanigan's ball. They were doing all kinds of nonsensing and polkas all around the floor. Really gig. Julia and I soon banished that nonsense. We took the floor for a reel and a jig. Boys, oh boys, that girl got mad at me, danced till I thought the ceiling would fall. Spent 6 months at Burke's Academy, learning the steps for Lanigan's ball. 6 long months I spent in Dublin, 6 long months doing nothing at all. 6 long months I spent in Dublin, learning the steps for Lanigan's ball. She stepped out, I stepped in again, I stepped out. She stepped in again, I stepped out again. She stepped in again, learning the steps for Lanigan's ball. The boys were all merry, the girls were all hearty, dancing together in couples and groups till an accident happened. Young Terence McCarthy, he put his right leg through Miss Finnegan's hoops. The creature, she fainted and told holy murder, called for her brothers and gathered them all. Carmody said he'd go no further, he'd have satisfaction at Lanigan's ball. 6 long months I spent in Dublin, 6 long months doing nothing at all. 6 long months I spent in Dublin, learning the steps for Lanigan's ball. She stepped out, I stepped in again, I stepped out. She stepped in again, she stepped out, and I stepped in again, learning the steps for Lanigan's ball. In the midst of the row, Miss Kerrigan fainted, her cheeks at the same time as red as the road. Some of the lads that fainted, she had a bit much to drink, I suppose. Her sweethead Ned Morgan, so powerful and able, when he saw his Colleen stretched out by the wall, he ripped the right leg from under the table and smashed all the dishes at Lanigan's ball. 6 long months in Dublin, 6 long months doing nothing at all. 6 long months I spent in Dublin, laying the steps for Lanigan's Ball. She stepped out, I stepped in again, I stepped out, she stepped in again, she stepped out, I stepped in again, learning the steps for Lanigan's Ball. Boys, oh boys, then there was ructions. I got a kick from young Phelan McHugh. I soon replied to his introduction, kicked up a terrible hullabaloo. In the mid Carey the piper was nearly being strangled, wrapped up in his pipe. Fellows chanters and all, boys and girls, they all got entangled, and that put an end to Lanigan's Ball. 6 long months I spent in Dublin, 6 long months doing nothing at all. 6 long months I spent in Dublin, and in the steps from Lanigan's Ball.
He's been very
Come all ye tramps and hawker lads, ye gatherers of law, who tramps this country round and round, come listening and all. I'll sing to you a verse or two, a sights that I hae seen, and it's far on Tay, the snowy north, and south by Gretna Green. I've seen the high Ben Lomond a towering to the moon. I've been by Creef and Callander and round by Bonnie Doon. I've seen the Lochie's silvery banks and places they'll take in. And it's far on Tay, the snowy north, lies Ucket's fairy land. It's oft I've laughed unto myself when travelling on the road. Me toe rags round me blistered feet, me face as brown's a toad, with bits of bread and lumps of cheese and wangs of braxy. It's nae thinking where I'm going to, nor less from going to go. Come all ye tramps and hawker lads, ye gatherers abroad, who tramps this country round and round, come listening and all. I'll sing to you a verse or two, a sights that I hae seen, and it's far on Tay, the snowy north, and south by Gretna. If I were a cop, were a lad, would you marry me? Would you have my bed? Well, I said, you carrying the pot. Give me my sleep, give me my if I were a man, would you miss your colored blood and your soft shoe shine? Give me your two. I were a cop, and I were a red. Would you marry me anyway? You have Now who wouldn't be a sailor lad a-sailing on the main to earn the goodwill of his captain's good name? I came ashore one evening from the sea, and that was the beginning of me own true love and me and this heart. I'd like to be in me own country, where the ash and the bonny rowan tree, growing greener in the old country. Well, she gave me a candle for to light me up to bed, and likewise a handkerchief to tie around me head. She tended to me needs like a young maid ought to do, and then I said to her, won't you let in with me too? And it hurt. Oh, my back to in the old country, where the oak and the ash and the bonny rowan trees, growing greener in the old country. Well, she jumped into bed, making no alarm, thinking a young sailor lad could do to her no harm. Well, I hugged her and I kissed her the whole night long, till she wished the short night had been 7 years long. Oh, my life to in the old country, where the ash and the bonny rowan trees are growing greener in the old country. Well, early next morning the sailor lad arose, and into Mary's apron threw a handful of gold, saying, take this, me dear, for the mischief that I've done, for tonight I fear I've left you with a daughter or a son, and home. I'd like to in the old country, where the and the ash and the bonny rowan tree, growing greener in the old country. Well, if it be a girl child, send her out to nurse, with gold in her pocket and with silver in her purse. And if it be a boy child, he'll wear the jacket blue and go climbing up the rigging like his daddy used to do. And it's home, home. Hey, my bastard. The old country, where the ash and the bonny rowan trees are growing greener in the old country. Well, come all of ye fair maidens, a warning take by me, and never let a sailor lad a centimetre above your knee. For I trusted one and he beguiled me. He left me with a pair of twins to dangle on me knee. And oh, my life to country, where the ash and the bonny rowan trees are growing greener in the north country. Press the button, press the button. And it's the ragman's ball. Come, pay attention for a while, me good friends, one and all, and I'll sing to you a verse or two about a famous ball. Now the ball was given by some friends who lived down in Ash Street, in a certain house in the Liberties where the ragmans used to meet. Now the names were called at 7 o'clock and every man was on the spot, and to show respect for the management every ragman brought his mot. Now I must admit that I brought mine at 25 minutes to 9, and the first to stand up was Kieran Grace for to tell me I was late. And up jumps Humphrey Stoodlum and he says, I think somehow by the ways are all going on tonight you're looking for a row. Now listen here Grace, you better watch your face, you better not shout nor bawl. There's a lot of hard shows gonna be here tonight to respect the ragman's ball. Now says my one, there's a queer one now, that Biddy's been putting on some weight. And up jumped Liza Boland and she told her to hold her freight. And my one made a cloud at her and she missed her and she hit the wall. And the two of them went off in the ambulance the night of the ragman's ball. Now of eating we had plenty now, as much as we could hold. We drank Brady's loop lime porter until round the floor we rolled. In the midst of all the confusion, someone shouted for a song, and up jumped El Dunlavin to sing, keep rolling your barrel along. And we got down to some hand parents when everything was quiet. But for broken noses, I must say we had a lovely night. Black eyes, they were in great demand, not to mention split heads and all. So if anyone wants to commit suicide, let him come to the ragman's. Have you heard of Phil the Flute from the town of Ballymucko? Times ago when Harris him, in fact the man was broke. So we just sent out a notice to his favourites, want to know as to how he'd like their company that evening at the ball. And when writing out, he was careful to suggest to them that if they found a hat if it's convenient to the door, the more they put in, whenever he suggested it, the better would the music be for battering the floor with the toot on the flute and the twiddle on the fiddle, hopping in the middle like a heron on the griddle. Hop down, hands around, crossing to the wall. Oh, hadn't we the gaiety at Phil the Flute's ball? Little Mitty Mulligan got up to show them how, and the bouncing with the cafferty steps up and takes the bow. I'll dance you off your feet, she, as sure as you were born. If you'll only have the piper play, the hare was in the corn. So Phil plays up to the best of his ability. The ladies and the gentlemen begin to do their share. God says, Mick, 'tis you that has agility. Begorra, Mrs. Cafferty, you're leaping like a hare with the toot on the flute and the twiddle on the fiddle, hopping in the middle like a heron on the griddle. Hop down, hands around, crossing to the wall. Oh, hadn't we the gaiety at Phil the Flute's ball? Phil the Flute tipped a wink to little Crooked Pat. Says he, I think it's nearly time for passing round the hat. So Paddy passed the cobbing round and looking mighty cute, says you got to pay the piper when he tootles on the flute. So all join in with the greatest joviality, covering the shuttle and the shuffle and the cut. Jigs were danced of the very finest quality, and the widow got a husband and the fluter got the rent with the toot on the flute and the twiddle on the fiddle, oh, hopping in the middle like a heron on the griddle, oh, hop down, hands around, crossing to the wall. Oh, hadn't we the gaiety at Phil the Flute's ball? Diddle diddle doodle diddle 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 dum diddle doodle diddle 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 doodle diddle dum diddle doodle diddle 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 dum doodle diddle 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 doodle diddle dum diddle you diddle 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 doodle dum diddle doodle diddle diddle dum diddle you diddle doodle diddle diddle doodle dum diddle diddle doodle diddle doodle diddle dum. The toot on the flute, the fiddle on the fiddle, hopping in the middle like a heron on the griddle. Hop down, hands around, crossing to the wall. Oh, hadn't we the gaiety, oh, hadn't we the gaiety, oh, hadn't we the gaiety at Phil the Flute's ball?